Hi, my name is Aaron Diehl, and I'm very much looking forward to returning to Musica Reginae for a performance after a number of years. I believe the last time I performed for the organization might have been around 2010 or so it's probably been about 10 years. And I have many fond memories of going out to Forest Hills and performing at Church in the Gardens. The first performance, I think, was back in 2008, if I'm not mistaken, and that was the music of John Lewis and the Modern Jazz Quartet with Quincy Davis, David Wong, and Warren Wolf. And I had performed a few concerts subsequently after that. I know one concert featured music by some of the residents, the famous jazz musicians who lived in Queens, such as Jimmy Heath, Louis Armstrong, Count Basie, and the list goes on and on. So I'm very much looking forward to be joining all of you. I was just going to talk a little bit about myself, sort of how I got into music. My grandfather was a jazz musician. His name was Arthur Baskerville. He was from Raleigh, North Carolina, and he played trombone and piano. And so when I was a kid, very small, he would come over to my parents' place, who had recently bought a baby grand piano, and he would just play standards. And I remember always being mesmerized by his playing and just by music in general. My grandparents and my mother went to mass every Sunday, and I remember music in church. And so I was always around music, I feel, from a very young age. My parents got me piano lessons around the age of 7, and I started studying classical music at Capital University in Columbus, Ohio. And I was I loved every moment of it. I had a really great piano teacher. Her name was Joanne Hall. And from then on, I was really hooked to the piano, to music, to classical music, and then later on into jazz. Probably when I was about 14 or 15, I got more involved with jazz music, partly because of my grandfather. And then also, I had a band director who he had directed a conglomerate regional high school jazz band called the Columbus Youth Jazz Orchestra. And his name was Todd Stoll, and I still keep in touch with him regularly. He lives in New York City now. And he really was my gateway to playing in ensembles, like big band ensembles. I had the fortune of playing a weekly gig with a gentleman by the name of Kimberly Pencil, who was a pianist and a trumpeter. So I would play usually on Friday nights, I think, at the Hilton Hotel in Easton Town Center, if you're familiar with Columbus. I would play with Kim and his group and his quartet. So he gave me a lot of experience playing small group at that time. I went to Juilliard in 2003 after I graduated in high school. A memorable experience, I would say, from that period. Before I went to Juilliard to be in the jazz program, Wynton Marsalis had called he asked me to be a part of his tour in Europe, 2003. And I remember earlier that spring, I got a call from an institute in Aspen, Colorado, the Jazz Aspen Snowmass Institute. And they had called to see if I would like to be a participant in their summer program, their summer jazz workshops. And I said yes. And maybe a few months later is when Wynton had called asking if I would be a part of his tour with his septet. And I actually turned him down at first because I had already committed to this thing in Aspen. And Desi Anderson, Wes Anderson's wife, and Wes Anderson's an alto saxophone player, and in fact, he's been a part of the Musica Reginae series in that same concert featuring composers from Queens. And Desi called me and said, "Are you crazy? You're turning down a gig with Wynton Marsalis to be a part of a jazz camp? So you need to call him back." So she was right. I called him back, and I spent 2 months, a month or two on the road with Wynton before going to Juilliard. Anyhow, very much looking forward to this concert coming up. This will be with Aaron Kimmel on the drums and Paul Sakivi on the bass. I've known both musicians for a number of years. Wonderful, wonderful musicians, and I hope you're able to listen to the music, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you very much.